everyone, today I've got your Blair Witch movie review. Years after the disappearance of Heather Donahue and her two friends who were working on a documentary, and this time her brother goes into those same woods to search for her. What will him and his friends find? As far as the story goes, in this movie, you definitely go deeper into the story and try to piece together exactly what happened with all the events that occurred with all this new technology that they had, like drones and GoPros and different things like that. I would say that it really wasn't executed properly to really fit into this movie per se, because even though, yes, the original movie was the first found footage style film, this, I think things could have been explained a lot better in certain areas, because some of the time it just didn't really make sense to me, and it still sort of left me questioning what was all sort of going on. I felt like it was a problem when the story wasn't exactly original, and I feel like I've seen this in movies nowadays where it's catering to a modern audience that maybe didn't get a chance to see the original movie at the time when it came out, and now you have to deal with this one, so they're all sort of putting some of the same scenarios in, even though, yes, it could have been effective, and to have that same sort of fear factor in there. But I feel like at the same time, these experiences that happened in the first film weren't as great to see in this film. As far as the casting goes, now, you have some actors that I feel like really can't hold a candle to the real actors who were in the Blair Witch Project, and that was a movie at the time where they all used their original names and they weren't just playing their characters in the film. And they did the same thing for the first Paranormal Activity movie. Here you've got this one girl played by Callie Hernandez, who is trying to make this student film, and then she uses James Allen McCune, who plays the brother of Heather Donahue, who's looking for his sister, and they go off with a couple of their other friends, and things just, I don't know, their acting wasn't that great. In the first Blair Witch Project, those actors actually sounded believable at times, even though they were swearing nonstop, but I guess at that time when I saw it, it was okay. You've got Corbin Reed, and you've got Brandon Scott, who were also along for the ride, and so it was pretty intense as well, even though I was a little bit annoyed by the characters at times. And then you've got even more annoying characters in the forms of Wes Robinson and Valerie Curry. And I was just like, what was the point of them being there? Because they really, I knew one of them, I was at least suspicious about them from the start. So that was really bad. So the things that I did like about this movie, yes, it was terrifying with a few loud jump scares, and that definitely made me clench my seat because of how scary these situations were going on. And I felt like they did hold back on trying to show you too much, which could have actually been a good thing, even though this time you were sort of given little glimpses of the antagonist. And that's never been seen before, especially in the first Blair Witch Project movie, and I think that's what was actually scarier at that time. And now it just sort of felt like, I don't know what's going to happen, but you do. Like that moment when you're facing a wall and you're just waiting to be killed. So that's what happens if you do see the antagonist. I did feel claustrophobic in one scene watching it, and I did have to cover my eyes to not actually watch it. So I would say that was probably one of the most unnerving scenes throughout the entire film. But unfortunately, the things that I didn't really like about the movie, even though it was interesting to see the different characters' perspectives, because they were all like holding cameras and they had their little earpiece cameras and you got to see what they're all seeing and all that stuff with the use of technology, but I felt like it was a bit overkill in this movie, and I feel like they're doing that in horror movies nowadays with these types of genres, and it got kind of annoying. And there were times when I really wasn't scared, and I wouldn't try to say that it was boring at all, and I was trying to really keep interested and find out exactly what was all going to go down. But there were some supernatural occurrences that were happening, and that really felt out of place. So I can't say that there was any consistency there, especially comparing this to the first Blair Witch Project movie, because I'm just going to completely ignore Book of Shadows, like I said in my trailer reaction for this movie. Overall, I would say that Blair Witch was slightly scary, but it was also not really scary, so I was going in with an open mind, and I didn't really want to know what was all going to go down before then, but I would say that I still was satisfied to see it in the end, despite having some minor issues with the film. So I would still recommend seeing it, but just, trying not to compare this to the first Blair Witch Project movie. I know it's hard. It was hard for me because I actually loved that movie when it came out. So I would give this 3.5 hearts on the heart rate scale. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought of Blair Witch. And as always, you guys can subscribe to my channel. I've got more movie reviews, movie updates, coming every week for a Child Thursday video. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. And I will see you guys later.